Will I ever run again after my stroke? I'm delighted that this is a question that was posed by a viewer just a couple of days back. Can I run again after a stroke? Well, I thought I'd have a go at answering that question. Of course, I don't know anything about the viewer that asked the question. I don't know where they live in the world. I don't know what facilities they've got. I thought I'd provide a general outline of exercise work that could help somebody get back to running. I think it's safe to say if you're planning to run again after a stroke, it's probable that you got walking again pretty well. And I would suggest that that would include outdoor walking, probably on some slightly uneven surfaces, probably amongst other pedestrians, around shops, shopping centres, high streets, and that walking can be done either with no walking stick at all or perhaps a light cane. It's probable then, and only then, would it be realistic to consider running. So having a go at it is very straightforward, in fact. Of course, you're going to make sure that you're safe. Any exercise that you're going to attempt, it may well be achievable, but all you have to do is to effectively chop it up into the right sized, bite-sized pieces. Something that you can manage. In my family, making jigsaws is quite a big thing. Sometimes I can put two pieces together. I wouldn't enjoy doing a 1,000 piece jigsaw myself, but I can assemble some of the parts. So putting together small parts of the puzzle, that can really help. And then maybe you can assemble that into some running. You'd have to be pretty good at some of the basics. Standing up and sitting down. You'd have to be able to do that quite briskly, either with arms on the chair, just lightly, or being able to do it without hands on the arms of a chair. And you'd need to be able to do those things quite quickly, quite explosively, suddenly, out of the chair with momentum and a bit of vigour, has to be said. I'm going to face the camera quite squarely, and you can see that my feet are coloured. So I'm going to say that it's my red foot that has been the most obviously affected by the stroke. Although by the time you're getting to running, the difference between the two is going to be quite small. So standing like this, can you begin to do what I call curtsies? A little bend of the knees, let's just show that from the side, a little bend of the knees. And can that be done suddenly, easily, even very quickly? Can it be done one leg and the other leg, which will flick the hips from side to side, a bit like a race walker at the Olympics. Then other components. Is it possible to start exercising like this? Standing on tiptoes, up and down, up, down. Can it be done quickly? It's also great to build speed of movement. When sitting, can you kick a leg, kick a leg, kick a leg? And if it doesn't come easily at first, then just working on some of these small components will help you build it back into running. Simple ideas, maybe with hand support at first, standing on one leg and stamping. And of course being able to do the same with each leg. This is the most obviously affected leg. You have to be able to stand on this leg in a certain way to let the so-called stronger leg work in its way. So do left and right versions of the same exercises. A large amount of running is also in the arms, so it will help tremendously if you do particularly a little bit of speed work, which you might start sitting down. Can you make the arms work perfectly opposite in the way they're working? You might have to start by doing things like this. And getting some speed. Drumming. So that you're building the skills of the whole limb and then working opposite. So here I'm going to bang on my so-called stroke leg. Getting your body used to the opposing movements of the arm counterbalancing the leg. These aren't the only exercises, but they're some simple examples of the components of running. It'll help you a lot if you can work with some person who's keen and excited about exercise and about running. Go to a local athletics club. The larger ones will have a huge range of abilities. Not just the Mo Farahs or the Usain Bolts of the world. They'll be interested in helping people who go in for Paralympics, perhaps. People of all ages and all abilities. And then a little later on, you can start to assemble all these exercises into the beginnings of actual running. Starting with, without even leaving the floor, hopping from one side to the other. Maybe holding on. Maybe holding a really strong surface, or maybe going back to using a walking stick, or climbing pole, or skiing pole. When you've started to build a little bit of confidence and can actually do something like a two-legged jump. So this time I came right off the floor. But absolutely key is whether I can get pink foot to land where it took off. Until you can start to do that, then it's going to be difficult to progress on towards actual running. If, when you try your first few jumps, you notice, as many will, that the most obviously stroked leg starts to land somewhere where you didn't quite mean it to. Most often it's going to be somewhere out in front. And of course, all the time making sure that you're well protected from actual falling. And when you try your first complete run, why not go alongside somebody who is a runner? Somebody who can run easily, and just wear, quite simply wear a large belt, and they can just take a handful of the belt, just to give you that extra sense of security. It's true to say that a large part of running after a stroke is a confidence trick. So lots of confidence will help you. And there's a fine line between being confident and being overconfident. So do take the simple precautions when it comes to the harder parts of these balance tests and practices. A simple broad belt, nice strong belt around the waist, being with somebody who's used to running, who's agile, probably somebody in their 20s or 30s, family, friend, you'll find someone. Please do like and subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell. Mark that, and YouTube will tell you when a new video goes up. Also, leave questions and comments. The channel is still fairly small, so I can really try to answer questions and respond to requests quite readily at the moment. So get your questions in while you can. Thank you.